Hey everyone! Today we're going to talk about English grammar, and our topic is something called verbals. Now, verbals include the infinitive, the gerund, and the participle. They're called verbals because they come from verbs, but they don't always act like verbs. Infinitives include both to infinitives and bare infinitives. Gerunds use the ing form. And participles can be present or past. Among these, participles can be a little tricky. So today we'll take a closer look at them. Glowing star warm-up. Before we start, let's warm up with a simple question. Change the word in brackets to the correct form. Backhand index pointing right, the spectators grew more and more excited. Let's think about it together. Spectators means the audience, right? As the game went on, they became more and more excited. So which form is correct, exciting or excited? That's a really common question for English learners. And today we'll make it super clear. Blue Book Example 1. Interesting versus interested. Let's take another sentence. Backhand index pointing right, I found this book, interest, from beginning to end. Which is correct, interesting or interested? The words look similar, but the meaning changes completely. This is where understanding participles really helps. A present participle, the ing form, usually means causing something, and a past participle, the ed form, usually means being affected by something. That's the key difference. Backhand index pointing right, causing versus being affected. Puzzle piece example 2. Surprising versus surprised. Let's look at an easy example using surprise. White heavy check mark surprising news. That means news that surprises people. White heavy check mark a surprised look. That means a look of someone who was surprised. So, ing means causing, and ed means feeling or being caused. Once you remember that, you'll be able to choose the right word much faster. Light bulb example 3. Interesting versus interested. Now, back to our earlier example. White heavy check mark it was an interesting book. The book caused interest. White heavy check mark I was interested in the book. I felt interest. So again, backhand index pointing right, interesting equals causing interest. Backhand index pointing right, interested equals feeling interest. That's why we say, white heavy check mark the book was interesting. White heavy check mark I was interested in the book. Once you see the pattern, it all makes sense. Soccer ball example 4. Exciting versus excited. Let's go back to the word excite. White heavy check mark the exciting game thrilled the audience. That means the game caused excitement. White heavy check mark the excited audience cheered loudly. That means the audience felt excitement. So in our warm-up, the spectators were excited, not exciting. Because they were affected by the game, not causing the excitement. That's the difference between affecting and being affected. Books example 5. Sentence structure. Let's return to the book example. Backhand index pointing right, I found this book interesting from beginning to end. Here, the book caused interest, it's interesting. Grammatically, this sentence has the structure. S plus V plus O plus C, I found the book interesting. The object, book, equals the complement, interesting. If the subject were a person, we'd say interested. So remember, green book things are interesting. Blue book people are interested. That's a great rule of thumb. Speaking head practice time. Let's practice with a few more examples. White heavy check mark the movie was exciting, but I was exhausted. The movie caused excitement, but I felt tired. White heavy check mark the lecture was boring, and the students were bored. Again, the lecture caused boredom, and the students felt it. Once you think in terms of causing versus feeling, it becomes really easy to decide which word to use. Face with tears of joy. Example 6. Amusing versus amused. Now let's add another one. Amuse. White heavy check mark. An amusing joke means a funny joke, something that causes laughter. White heavy check mark. An amused face means a face showing that someone felt amusement. The same rule still works. Warning, note on exceptions. Sometimes this rule doesn't apply perfectly. For example, enjoy doesn't follow this pattern naturally. White heavy check mark. We don't say the enjoying crowd or the enjoyed show. Instead, we say the enjoyable show. So not every word fits exactly. But this causing versus feeling rule helps with most common cases, especially for adjectives ending in ing and ed. Brain think, don't just memorize. Many students just memorize expressions like be interested in or be bored with. That's okay, but real understanding comes when you can explain why something is correct. So always ask yourself, backhand index pointing right, am I causing the feeling or feeling it? That one question will guide you every time. When you understand why a sentence is correct, you're not just memorizing, you're really mastering English. This will help you not only with grammar, but also with reading, writing, and even translation later on. Checkered flag summary. Let's review what we learned today. White heavy checkmark present participles, ing, mean causing something. White heavy check mark past participles, ed, mean feeling or being affected by something. If something makes people feel excited, it's exciting. If someone feels excited, they're excited. Same with boring versus bored. Amusing versus amused. Pretty clear, right? Grinning face with smiling eyes. If you can remember that simple rule, you'll do great with most participle questions, in exams and in real life. So keep practicing, and you'll start to feel much more confident in your English. Flexed biceps. Alright, that's it for today's English grammar talk. Thanks for studying with me, and I'll see you in the next lesson. Waving hand.